a destination known for its ornate temples, bargain shopping, and heavy traffic. And of course, a vibrant street food scene. But scattered around the bustling city of Bangkok are pockets of greenery and tranquility not often seen by tourists. I discovered one such green gem tucked discreetly along the busy Nang Linchi Road in the commercial district of Sathorn. A kindergarten for children aged 1.5 to 5 years old, setting foot into Raintree International School brought about a surprising sense of serenity.
This beautiful rain tree right here was a source of inspiration for the school's name and is one of 2 such classes on the premise. Well, right from the start, the founders felt it was important to preserve these large 30-year-old trees, and so the architects took up the challenge of designing around these trees and came up with a unique S-shaped layout for the school.
Greendwell Architects' respect for the environment won them the ASA Emerging Architecture Award for Sustainable Design. Their director, Siritip Hanta Wiwongsa, immediately saw the value in preserving one of the few green plots in Sathorn.
It's an asset that we want to keep for our kids because urban kids, we don't have that many chances to run around under these big trees except in the parks. So especially for school and learning environment, it's really important to us.
As an extension of her belief in design that nurtures people and the environment, Siritip is passionate about nurturing up-and-coming designers by sharing her industry expertise.
It's something I love to do, and I think it's also a necessity because I think my generation would come and go, but then their generations are also the ones who could come and turn the tide. Because to me, we're at the stage where architecture needs to be a lot more sustainable than maybe decades before, and it's not in our generation's hands only, and it needs the newer generations to come and engage and understand the problems.
That's also why Siritip is a regular speaker and judge at Asia Young Designer Awards, the region's largest student award for architecture and interior design. Since 2008, AYDA has seen close to 30,000 entries across 1,000 universities and colleges.
And you have been involved with AYDA as a judge since 2011.
Yes.
What motivates you to keep doing this year after year?
Well, I love working with AYDA, and I think the main reason is that I think we share the same belief, we share the same value in sustainability, and also share the same value that you have to nurture the young in order for us to make changes, big changes in the future.
Back in 2016, Ferdy Chang won an AYDA Gold Award for Modern Farmland, a sustainable mixed development concept that would function as an add-on to a prison complex. Integrating a restaurant, farm and retail space, Ferdy's interior design idea envisioned a pre-release center for inmates with good behavior, where they could receive job training for reintegration to society. With an aim to continually nurture young design talents, AYDA's organizers decided to surprise Ferdy with a refresher 3 years into his career. AYDA brought him from Jakarta to Bangkok for an exclusive learning experience, where Ferdy would not only get to see a design icon's work in real life, but be taken on a personal tour of Raintree International School by Siritip herself.
It's very exciting because I only read about her in the internet, and now that I'm able to meet her in real life and have her explain to me, how this works, it's very inspiring. Really look forward to it.
Now that we've met Siritip, I understand you're going to take us on a tour of your 3 favorite features?
Yes.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes, would be happy to.
Wow, what's this?
And here we are. This is what I would call a wind channel. So it's one of my favorite features of the school, and it's quite a bit challenging to design during the design process.
Okay.
And the wind channel, the reason we need it is because the school has quite a limited wind access due to its long and narrow shape. But then we want the kids to be able to run around under the breeze, and we're connecting the back court to the front court. So that's why we punched this hole. And the reason is because the wind generally it should come from that side. But because we have a lot of obstruction, since it's kind of like within the city, so we ran the simulation for the ventilation. It turns out that the wind comes from the back and it goes towards the front. So there is no way we could bring the wind into the play space if we don't punch this hole. So it's quite challenging because you need classroom space, but you also need this hole, so you have to balance like how big a hole is to be able to bring the wind here and then to the front court and out.
The thing that I noticed is that you have a big void here and then like this kind of seating features.
Yes.
Is this intentional? Because
Not
I love
really.
It looks
Not
a bit
really.
like a natural garden. What's going on here?
Yeah, the strange thing is that this was initially intended to be a place for the tree. So we want to have another big tree under the skylight. We feel that it gives like a cozy feeling for the kids. But then as it turns out that later on during the design stage, we realized that, hey, we have lots of trees here. Why have this one more? So we have this. So it ended up being kind of like this, a bit sunken down, and didn't intend to be used only just transitional space. But then now it turns out to be quite a popular space for the kids. They would gather around here, sing and dance, and you see there are
Yeah,
some
I
like
see
musical
toys in there.
instruments here. Because it's breezy, it's windy, so they like to sit here. It became a popular spot unexpectedly. So I'm glad that happens.
I don't think just the kids would love it. I will also love it in my office as well.
Well, I'm glad you like it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you like
It's
it.
very nice.
Very nice. What's next?
Well, let me take you to the next spot.
Looks like we're moving from indoor greens to outdoor greens. Is that
this
right?
was your step.
Okay.
That's right. What you see here, these are the big trees that are actually existing trees with the site. Very old, actually. So these are the playground, and that's another of my favorite feature of the school. What you'll see here is that you have this playground, which are designed around the existing one group of trees. And then if you were to look across that wind tunnel, you will see another playground at the front, which is a more active playground, kind of
Yeah.
like a tree house thing. Those are another existing groups of trees. Oh, you would also see squirrels there.
Oh, wow.
So these are like the two playgrounds that naturally are not really designed, but are naturally here because we design a building surrounding the two existing groups of trees.
I see. So the line of vision seems to be very good. I can see what's going on from this playground to the other one. Did you do that intentionally?
That's actually unintended, but it's really good in terms of when you have one teacher standing over there, then he or she could like stand and see everything, see all the children playing, which is a really good in terms of safety for the kids.
I can see why you like it so much. So you still have one final feature to show
Yes,
us, right?
that's correct.
Okay.
So, shall we go?
Okay.
Please follow me. Here is our classroom on the second floor, which is sufficiently daylit. We intended for all the classrooms in this school to have sufficient daylight because we know that light is good for the kids' learning and it feels good to be in the presence of daylight. So we design, if you see that striped window here, it's a tall window called clear story window. What it helps is that it helps distribute daylight deeper in space. So for a big classroom like this actually really helps. And in combination with this slanted ceiling, it helps that all the room gets daylit. And actually we feel a lot better like spending time in daylit space as
It
well.
does feel very calm and peaceful.
Yeah.
Just a different
Well,
vibe altogether.
I'm glad you feel that way.
So seriously, I'm very curious to find out where in Bangkok would you personally recommend to someone who loves design?
Okay, I think there's a lot of good architecture in Bangkok that you could visit. But to me personally, we work on a lot of residential projects, and I personally like a place called Jim Thompson's House Museum. It's a really you could call a well-curated place that you could see vernacular architecture, specifically residential architecture. It's really beautiful and really well managed. I would strongly recommend to go there.
I'm adding that to my list.
Okay, great.
Freddie, before we wrap up and officially leave, do you have any other questions about design or career that you would like to ask Siritin?
I actually do.
Okay.
I'm quite curious how you're able to manage such an inspirational and creative design workflow
Okay.
while, in the midst of tight schedules and deadlines we often designers and architects has to face during our career.
Well, first of all, thank you. And I think that's a really good question and a very tough question to answer. I'll try to answer from my perspective. I wanted to use this project as an example. I love working on this project a lot. And when you work to love on something, then you could feel the drive of working on it every day. And this project is a really good collaboration between the architect and the owner. We work with them from day one. We share the same vision, and that's why we could grow together, develop towards this completed building, which I would say I love it a lot. And we don't really stop there. It's actually really, this school is actually operated for 3 years now, and we still call the owner. We ask about the feedback, is there anything we could improve, and if there's anything we could learn from it. For example, like I was curious myself, how is a day-lit building, day-lit classroom help the kids to learn? So I was asking her, I'm not sure whether it helps the kid to focus or is it a distraction. So the reply that I get, the comments from the teachers that they would describe the students here as calm. They think that the kids with a fully glazed window or well day-lit room, they are able to actually focus more on what the teacher has to say. The reason is because they don't feel that they're trapped inside. They look out, they see the greeneries, they feel that, okay, they could go out wherever, whenever they want. So this is a good thing, and it's also a learning point for us as well, so that we could sort of improve our next project.
I think it's so encouraging to hear that clients and designers can work well together to achieve even more.
It's not to say that we don't have any design or construction issues, but we overcome that through collaboration until the project is being realized.
And I think it's not just realized and finished, but your design are still growing, even until now, right?
Yes, that's right, because you see people and kids, they are even growing up, and then they learn from this space, and you see the trees are growing up and hopefully fill up this courtyard space.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Siritit, for
Very
taking us
welcome,
around.
Victoria.
And Freddie, thank you for asking great questions as well.
Thank you so much for the
Very
tour.
welcome.
It was very inspirational and it's very eye-opening.
I'm
Thank
glad
you
you
so
like
much
it.
for the tour.
Very welcome,
Thank
Freddie.
you.
How do you think you can bring back what you learned today to what you do in interior design?
It's more into the mindset and how the way she handles the concept from the scratch to finish, and the way she thinks that a lot of the constraint, not as a constraint, but also like a supporting pillars of her design, and it's really inspiring. The way she preserved the trees and she built around the trees instead of like chopping it down and planting a new one, which is usually the case, and I think that's very good.
I understand you're about 3 years into your career now as an interior designer. How different would you say your experience at AYDA summits are compared to real life in the working world?
Obviously, it's very different because in the workplace, it's more like a grind. In AYDA, it's very refreshing experience because not only you get to meet a lot of colleagues from many different cultures, countries, and you can exchange thoughts. They have different visions, but similar. They want the future to be better through designs and architectures. And to be able to share that with your colleagues, with the seniors, with the speakers, it's really a rare chance of opportunities.